Picture this, you're swimming in crystal clear water, maybe 30 feet down, and you spot a squid. It's pretty cute, honestly. Kind of looks like it could be a Pokemon. But here's where things get weird. If you keep diving deeper, like way deeper, the squids you encounter start looking less like ocean creatures and more like something a horror movie director designed after a really bad nightmare. We're talking transparent bodies, hooks instead of suckers, and in the absolute worst cases, squids that look like they were drawn by someone who's never seen a squid but has seen plenty of nightmare fuel. The deeper you go, the more disturbing they become. It's like evolution looked at normal squids and said, you know what? Let's get weird with it. So why does this happen? Why do squids specifically seem to go completely off the rails the deeper down you travel? And just how creepy do these things actually get? To understand this phenomenon, we first need to talk about where squids actually live, because it's not like you're going to accidentally bump into a nightmare squid at the beach. Most squids you're familiar with look pretty normal. Take the reef squid, for example. These guys hang out in shallow water in what scientists call the epipelagic zone, and they're basically your standard issue squid. 10 arms, big eyes, but nothing that'll haunt your dreams. But once you descend into the twilight zone, and yes, that's the actual scientific name, things start getting interesting. This zone sits between 200 and 1,000 meters down, and the squids here have begun adapting to some pretty extreme conditions. You've got firefly squids that glow in the dark, which honestly is more beautiful than creepy. They light up like tiny underwater Christmas trees. Then there are glass squids, which have turned almost completely transparent. You can literally see through them. It's strange, sure, but we're still in weird nature documentary territory, not a full horror show yet. But lurking at the deepest part of the twilight zone is where we meet our first genuinely unsettling squid, the Humboldt squid. These guys are over 6 feet long, weigh up to 100 pounds, and here's the fun part. They're the first squids to develop actual hooks designed to rip flesh apart, not suction cups. Unlike their chill cousins up above, Humboldt squids will absolutely hunt each other. They're cannibals. They've earned the nickname Red Devils of the Sea, and it's not just because of their color. These squids are hyper-aggressive and hunt in coordinated groups, flashing red and white patterns across their skin to communicate mid-hunt. It's like they're texting each other, except the message is, let's eat something. They can swim up to 25 miles per hour, which is definitely faster than you can swim. So should you be terrified? Well, they can hurt you with those hooks if you get too close, but they're not actively hunting humans. They prefer smaller prey, fish, crabs, other squids. There haven't been any reported human deaths from Humboldt squids, so we're safe for now. Now, if you thought those were creepy, buckle up because we haven't even reached the midnight zone yet. Between 1,000 and 4,000 meters down, squids have fully committed to the nightmare aesthetic. Enter the Promachoteuthis, the squid with what looks like human teeth. I'm not exaggerating. This thing appears to have a full set of chompers. Who designed this? Who thought this was a good evolutionary path? The wild thing is, those aren't actually teeth. They're folded lips of soft tissue that surround the squid's beak. I'm honestly not sure if that makes it better or worse. Only one specimen has ever been caught, and it was barely an inch long. Part of the reason we haven't found more is because they're so deep and rare, which is probably for the best, honestly. The ocean can keep that one. On the complete opposite end of the size spectrum lives the celebrity of deep-sea squids, the giant squid. This is what most people think of when they imagine scary deep-sea creatures, and for good reason. These monsters can grow up to 45 feet long and have the largest eyes in the entire animal kingdom, bigger than dinner plates. Giant squids are massive enough to be legitimately dangerous. They're famous for fighting sperm whales that dive thousands of meters to hunt them. We've found scars from giant squid tentacles on whale skin and squid beaks in whale stomachs. Most historians think the Kraken legends were based on these things. Their anatomy is built for the deep. A huge mantle of solid muscle, 2 tentacles lined with sucker cups that have tiny teeth around them, and a beak that can slice through flesh. So yeah, they're absolutely terrifying. But are they aggressive toward humans? We don't really think so, mostly because no human has ever encountered one in its natural habitat. They're ambush predators that lurk in pitch-black water, waiting to strike at fish or other squids. There's a lot of cannibalism among deep-sea squids, if you haven't noticed the pattern. So why do they get so massive? It's actually a combination of factors. One theory is that in the deep ocean where it's freezing cold and food is scarce, larger bodies conserve energy better. They can store more nutrients and move more efficiently across long distances. Bigger animals can also travel farther to find food or mates in such an empty environment. It's called deep sea gigantism, and it's why we see supersized versions of lots of creatures down there. But here's the crazy part. Despite being absolutely enormous, we know almost nothing about giant squids. We don't know how many exist, how long they live, how they reproduce, or where they lay their eggs. In a way, that mystery is what makes them so fascinating. They're real-life sea monsters that we've barely studied. But giant squids aren't even close to the deepest dwelling squids. Below the midnight zone is the abyssal zone, or as I like to call it, the abyss, because that's basically what it is. An endless pitch-black void stretching from 4,000 to 6,000 meters below the surface. Zero sunlight reaches here. The pressure is immense. The temperature hovers just above freezing, and everything moves in this eerie, slow motion. There are no plants, and most food is just marine snow, dead stuff falling from above. What lives here? Highly specialized creatures like deep-sea jellyfish, sea cucumbers, and of course, squids. Meet Asperateuthis acanthoderma, an insanely thin but insanely long squid that can reach up to 15 feet, and all it really does is drift. It's almost fully gelatinous, and we don't know much about it because of how absurdly deep it lives. It probably hunts with its trailing thin arms, sensing vibrations in the water. But honestly, a lot about these squids is still just unknown. Sitting at the bottom of the abyssal zone is the only squid heavier than the giant squid, the colossal squid. I know these names are getting confusing. I'm having a hard time keeping them straight too, but stay with me. The colossal squid is actually a completely different species than the giant squid. They're not even closely related. The giant squid is long, lean, and built for speed. It's an ambush predator that strikes fast. The colossal squid, on the other hand, is shorter, still nearly 35 feet long, but thick and absolutely massive. It's also an ambush predator, but in a different way. It waits in the dark, spots faint movement, then strikes with hook-line tentacles that twist and dig into flesh. Once it's got a hold, it drags its prey in and tears it apart with a beak capable of slicing through bone. This thing is the heavyweight champion of squids. The heaviest one ever recorded was over 1,000 pounds, and scientists think the biggest ones could reach 1,300 pounds. Each eye is about 11 inches across, and in larger adults, they might even be bigger than giant squid eyes, making them the largest eyes of any animal on Earth. So in a theoretical fight, who would win? Giant squid or colossal squid? Honestly, it's close. The giant squid has reach with longer tentacles and is faster and more agile. But the colossal squid is a tank, being heavier, thicker, and armed with rotating hooks instead of suction cups. It could probably hook the giant squid and rip it apart in a close-range brawl. But this fight would never happen because they don't live in the same place. Giant squids stick to the midnight zone in warmer, more oxygen-rich seas. Colossal squids are found only in the abyssal zone around Antarctica, way too deep for giant squids to venture. What they do have in common is one massive enemy, the sperm whale. These whales dive thousands of meters into total darkness using echolocation to hunt them. When they surface, their heads are often covered in circular scars, sucker marks, and hook wounds from battles with both types of squids. Inside whale stomachs, scientists have found giant beaks, the only part of a squid that doesn't digest. Now, what's even deeper than this? Below the abyssal zone is the hadal zone, the absolute bottom of the ocean. It starts around 6,000 meters and goes all the way down to the Mariana Trench, nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. This zone is made up mostly of ocean trenches. What lives here? Basically nothing. It's so deep that only simple organisms like worms and microbes survive, the most terrifying squid to ever exist. Meet the Magnapinna, aka the bigfin squid. I'll let you Google this thing because words don't do it justice. What does this squid do? We don't really know. We've never caught one alive, never studied a full adult, and only know they exist from grainy camera footage. It's suspected they don't swim, but just drift. The ones we've found are about 20 feet long. still smaller than giant squids, but I would honestly rather encounter a giant squid than whatever this thing is. Why did this squid evolve to be so creepy? It's probably about survival, not just creating nightmares for fun. Movement burns energy, and energy is incredibly precious this deep. So instead of swimming around hunting or fleeing predators, the big fin is designed to hang motionless, drifting and waiting. The elbow bend in each arm helps it control its net of tentacles without tangling them up. Even its colorless, translucent skin is practical, though light doesn't exist down here. If a predator happens to glow or use bioluminescence, transparency means the big fin reflects almost nothing. Of course, this is speculation since we have no real proof, but it's the best answer we have for why they look so alien. Here's the creepy part. We've explored less than 5% of the deep ocean. That means there could be dozens of undiscovered squid species lurking down there, some potentially even bigger than the ones we know. Some scientists think there might be larger relatives of the big fin that move so slowly our submersibles pass right by them without noticing. Even the squids we do know, the giant, the colossal, the glass squids, were basically discovered by accident, mostly from finding their remains in whale stomachs. And sperm whales don't even go deep enough to reach the hadal zone. So what else could be down there that we haven't seen yet? The truth is, squids get creepier the deeper you go because each zone of the ocean presents different survival challenges. In the twilight zone, squids develop bioluminescence and transparency to hide from predators. In the midnight zone, they grow enormous to compete with other predators and conserve energy in the cold. In the abyssal zone, they become tanks with hooks and massive beaks to survive in extreme conditions. And in the hadal zone, they become something we can barely recognize as squids at all. The ocean is essentially running different experiments in different labs, and each one produces increasingly bizarre results. The deeper you go, the more extreme the conditions, and the more extreme the adaptations. Squids are just really good at adapting, even if that means turning into creatures that look like they escaped from a horror movie. As much as I find these squids fascinating, I'm not particularly eager to find something creepier than the big fin squid. The ocean can keep its secrets. Some mysteries are better left in the dark. Thanks for watching. Comment down below what you would like to watch next. Take care and see you next time.